just before the agility competition, here's our weekly advice spot from Superdog vet John Wilson.
Have you got a dog that barks incessantly when you travel by car? Or does your dog virtually make you a prisoner in your own home? Or does your dog stand guard over the dustbin, making it impossible for you or for anyone else to empty it? These were some of the problems that were presented to dog psychiatrist Peter Neville and featured in his recent book. Peter, how do you deal with the dog that's barking incessantly in the car?
A lot of these problems arise because the dog has a continuous flow of slightly blurred images, or it sees horses and dogs and they maintain the dog in a permanently excited position. It barks to gain attention, it barks because it's frustrated perhaps. And sometimes a simple expedient of tying the dog down below window level to reduce that input can solve the barking. With others, we need perhaps a novel interruption, a loud noise from a rape alarm, a squirt of water, rather than the owner shouting at the dog. If you shout, the dog thinks you're excited too, and you have the sort of pack barking problem.
Peter, tell me some of the main problems that you have to deal with.
Well, the chief problem that I see is to do with aggression, canine aggression in various forms. Aggression towards owners, aggression towards other dogs, predatory aggression, sheep chasing, cat chasing.
How do you deal with the dog that growls at its owner?
Well, this usually results because the dog doesn't accept its position in the family. In other words, it's a social animal, it's a rank-conscious animal that is starting to challenge its owners for position in the social group.
So can you give me some practical advice?
Yes, the owner should reject the dog's demands for attention because the dog is then playing the dominant role, saying, take note of me, I want fussing, I want feeding. All this is stopped. The dog continues to receive affection, but only when the owner wants to give it. And ideally, the dog is made to obey a simple command, such as sit, before it receives any favours at all. Feeding should occur after the owners have eaten their meals. The dog should have its own bed, but periodically the owner can occupy that bed, just stand in it, so that he has rights of access to all parts of the territory.
Dogs are very social animals. What happens when they're left alone?
Well, sometimes they become very anxious. A dog has to learn to cope with solitude, and although most puppies do learn to cope with it, for a few, the distress of being isolated from their human pack persists into adulthood. Common symptoms are separation anxiety, destructiveness, where the dog will start to tear the house to pieces, furniture, household goods, loss of toilet control, and perhaps barking or howling.
Some of your clients had that problem, and I'm going to have a word with them now to see how they coped.
I was worried because I was pregnant with Rebecca here, and everybody kept stopping me in the street telling me that German Shepherds were vicious, they were like wolves, they kill babies. And although I didn't really give any credence, when you're pregnant, everything worries you. My husband and I thought, well, he's very, very attached to me, and maybe he will be jealous when the baby's born.
So what did Peter say to you?
Well, he said they weren't like wolves and that they weren't vicious and that they didn't kill babies on sight, but that if he was very, very attached to me, there was a possibility that he could be jealous, and that what I needed to do was distance myself from him somewhat.
Are you happy about the relationship now?
Oh, very much so. He not only tolerates her, he actively adores her, and he protects her. He's very, very protective of her.